I'm joined here by Brett Esely. And Brett, we were just talking a little bit earlier about the changes that are going on at Civic Arena, including that paint job, but there's a lot of exciting events coming up, and the first is kind of kicking off the women's college basketball season.
Absolutely. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah.
We've got 4 events at Civic Arena before the end of the year. Hard to believe, but first and foremost, I can't believe it's basketball season, but we're excited about it. We've got 8 NCAA Division II women's basketball teams coming in this weekend. 3 of the 8 have played in the NCAA tournament the last 2 years, and one of the 8 I think is a very familiar face in Missouri Western. They had a big week last week, and they will open their regular season this Friday and Saturday night at Civic Arena.
Yeah, and it's certainly exciting that we're seeing a lot more schools come in, because last year, the end of the season, we saw a lot of teams come into town, and now we're starting off the season. We were talking a little bit off air. Bookending the season here in St. Joseph is a great opportunity.
Well, absolutely, and I think it was a good marketing pitch for us. For folks that don't know, the NCAA Women's Basketball National Championship is back here next March, and so it was a unique pitch to teams to come in to start their season here with kind of the emphasis of start your season here, end your season here. I mean, right now, think about it. Every team in the country at Division II on the women's side, they're practicing with the goal of getting to St. Joseph, Missouri and playing in the national championship. And so 8 teams get that opportunity this weekend, 4 games a day. They start at 12:30 Friday and Saturday, and the Missouri Western plays the last game of the day beginning at 7:30 each day.
Well, and it certainly should be exciting for all the Griffin fans to come out. But the other thing we're talking about too is the MIAA Volleyball Championships as well. It seems like championship and St. Joseph are coming together very well for Civic Arena.
Well, there's a method to that madness. When I got to the Sports Commission in January of 2022, we host championships very well in this community, whether it's an in-season tournament, a conference tournament, or a national championship. And so we've got our eyes on anything and everything that fits here and brings people to town. We were fortunate to host the MIAA Volleyball Championship last year, and the best compliment you can get is when a group wants to come back to your community. And so we've locked that championship in the next 2 years. And volleyball's exciting. The MIAA has a lot of good volleyball teams of local interest. Both Missouri Western and Northwest Missouri State have qualified for the event. And so that championship begins a week from this Thursday, the 16th, 4 quarterfinal games. 2 semifinal games are on Friday, and then the championship game is on Saturday night, November 18th at 6 p.m.
And one of the other events we were talking about too is the Bill Snyder Classic. We're bringing in a Big 12 team, an SEC team to St. Joseph. A lot of fans are going to be excited about that. Talk about how that came together as well. This is a pretty big deal.
I think it's a big deal. I'm always hesitant to say never, because as soon as I say never, people remind me, but I'm not aware of a Division I college basketball game that's ever been played here in St. Joseph. And we're thrilled to have Kansas State and Mizzou playing here Saturday, December 9th at Civic Arena. Yes, that's a real game, uniforms and everything. It's not an exhibition. So it's all about relationships. A lot of people don't know. There's 3 members of Kansas State's women's basketball staff that have ties to Missouri Western. Jeff Mitty, the head coach, is an alum. He got his head coaching career started at Western, and so that was kind of the tie. And that was really about a 7 to 8 month courting process of getting Kansas State, but finding an opponent. Obviously, Mizzou was at the top of our list, the state school coming to St. Joe, and now we get to see it come to fruition Saturday, December 9th, and we tell fans, do not wait to buy your tickets. We anticipate a sellout for that event, and you can get those on our website at stjomosports.com.
Well, that's something that I'm sure both PowerCat fans and those Tiger fans will be looking forward to. My last question for you, Brett, is now that we've got these 3 events, you know, we've got the championships coming back in April. What does the future look like for both the Civic Arena and St. Joseph for bringing in sports to this area?
Well, first and foremost, great question. First and foremost, the sky's the limit. And I tell people all the time, it's never about this week's event, next week's event, next March's event. It's about those events and the experience. But it's also about what's next. We've got our eyes on a lot of things. Again, 2 things I always say this community does excellent. Never underestimate our location. You can get here, and that matters. And number 2, we do hospitality very well as well, meaning when those teams come to town, our community does a great job of embracing them. They let them know that they understand why they're here, and that's important. We do that well. We need to leverage that, and we'll continue to do that moving forward.
Well, absolutely. Brett, thank you for joining us here for News Press Now in the Morning Show. We're going to send it back to you in the studio. We'll be right back with more news right after this.